I'm Justin Mott, and welcome to my home here in Hanoi, Vietnam. And today I'm giving you guys my first impressions of the somewhat newly released Leica Q3 43. A huge thank you to Leica Singapore and Leica Vietnam for the loaner. As always, don't forget to check out my online store at askmott.com, where I've got presets, online classes, and you can still sign up for my Northern Vietnam photography workshop this December. I've got a couple slots left. And a big shout out, a big thanks to my friends over at Woncraft for sponsoring this episode. They make the best, and let's be honest, the coolest camera bags on the market. They just released a bunch of new stuff that I'm going to talk about soon. They've got these new little armor clip-on packs. If you're not familiar with their bag system, it's a modular system where you can clip on different accessories and make one bag into like 5 different bags. In addition to that, they've got their holiday promo right now, where depending on how much you spend, they've got these great little bonus gift packages that go along with your purchase. You check all that out using the affiliate link in the description box below. So I've never actually owned any Q series camera personally. I've borrowed it, I've reviewed it, I've used it as a second camera backing up my M10D on some personal project work. I use it as a backup camera to my SL2S on some commercial and editorial work. And then this time when I borrowed the Q343, I could only use it briefly around my house due to some construction work and a bunch of editing deadlines. So I won't be sharing any sample photos because frankly, I didn't have a real chance to take any worth showing you guys. And too often, people post mediocre shots just to put something out there, and I have too much of an ego to do that. I just can't do it. But these are my first impressions. So I'm typically a 35mm and 50mm shooter, so the Q's 28mm has never quite worked for me. It's too wide for me personally, and then for all my online students who a lot of them use the Leica Q, I often see it leading to lazy compositions, too much sky, too much concrete, too much empty space, too much nothing. A 28mm should be a challenging lens, not an easier lens. It's harder to fill the frame on a wider lens. And yes, some people use that lens in an exceptional way, but I just find a lot of my students don't. It's especially not great for street photography because I think it sort of encourages bad habits. Like if you're a shy photographer, it encourages you to even be more shy because you just kind of stop what you are and take a picture. And it's a wide angle lens and you're happy. But some people use it very well. I'm just saying I think that most people don't. So let's start with price because this is something that matters to most people. And this is something that maybe some people will just walk away after they hear this. So the price of this camera is $6,895. So the Q343 shares the same 60 megapixel BSI CMOS sensor and body as the original Q3. It's a professional level high quality sensor, but essentially the insides of this camera are the same. The only difference in the outside of the camera is the lens, which I'll talk about later, and then also the finish of it. This comes with a gray leather finish, and while I still prefer the all black look, the gray leather is a nice touch and it does make it a little bit different than your other Leicas. So with the high megapixel sensor, you can crop in and make it a 75mm and a 90mm, even upwards to 150mm, although naturally you'll lose resolution with each crop. As much as I've used the Q3 and Q2, I just never end up really using the crop feature. The big deal for me on this camera is the actual focal length, but also the quality of the new lens. It's a 43mm apo summicron lens. It's exceptionally sharp and it has apochromatic correction design, giving it impressive color accuracy and minimal chromatic aberration. Now, as far as the focal length, why is this a big deal? Well, the focal length, that seems like Leica's answer to all those out there like me who have been screaming for a 35mm or a 50mm Q. It's a smart compromise, offering versatility for street photography and environmental portraits and more. And for me, it's just far more appealing for reasons I already explained than the 28mm Q3. So it's a nice little compromise. Some of you guys might be saying like, well, if I'm a 35 user and I'm really into that, is a 43 going to be a big deal? Not really. No, I mean, I don't have enough experience to say that, but I feel like it would be fine. It's not a weird focal length. I think it's a great focal length for street photography and just as an everyday camera. You can take portraits with it. You can go out and shoot documentary with it. If you're a 50mm purist, I think it's fine. You crop in just a tiny bit with a 43 and you've got a natural 50. And then also you've got the option for a little more room to breathe with that 43 compared to your normal 50. So for me, that focal length is a big deal. It's a nice lens. It's an f2 lens. The other camera was a 1.7 lens. I don't think that's a big deal. It's a really high quality, sharp Apple lens, but mainly it's the focal length that does it for me. Now, as far as a few other things, weather sealing and video features, the weather seal design is a great bonus, but again, the Q3 has that as well. But if you like to shoot in rough conditions, that makes it more advantageous than the M series. Also on that topic, some people that are considering the M series, yeah, I mean, you do have video features on this, you do have autofocus on this, and you do have weather sealing. So if anyone was comparing this to an M system and you like those things more than having a bunch of different lenses, that's also something to consider. So as far as video specs, Leica's trying. It's not their strong suit here. It supports 8K and ProRes recording, but lacks a 3.5mm mic jack. But they're marketing it with a little Rode mic with the USB mic. So if you did want to attach an external mic, you could. But I would say if you're like serious about video, there are better options out there available with superior autofocus and stabilization. But I like the push in this direction for having their cameras have more hybrid capabilities, because a lot of people out there are doing a lot of different things now. Is this a great content creator's camera? It's a very expensive content creator's camera, and again, I don't think it would be great for video. It doesn't have that flip out screen off to the side, which is nice for content creation. It doesn't handle well as a video camera. Sure, you could sort of cage it out, but there's not as many options as there would be for something like Panasonic, Sony, Canon, or Nikon. For anyone out there that is a Leica shooter and wants to stay within that family, a nice little option there is something that I use for some of my video work, is check out the Panasonic cameras, the Lumix series. They actually have some nice video camera offerings there. So my overall thoughts on this camera, if I didn't already have an M10D with a 35mm and a 50mm setup, this would be an appealing camera, and it would actually save money because those two lenses cost a lot of money. The 43mm focal length makes it versatile for street photography, travel photography, and even as a backup to my SL2S. And it's a sneaky good focal length. The lens quality is superb, and the app integration is genuinely user-friendly, a rarity in the camera world for some reason, but that's a really nice experience. Plus, you're getting like a design in the ergonomics of the outside of the camera and in the usability of the navigation system, again, which is superior to most other cameras out there, if not all. Cons on this camera for me: no internal storage, which is a missed opportunity for me, especially since we know it's possible for Leica. The fact that they didn't put it in there at a higher price camera is a miss for me. Overall, the price feels a bit steep for me, almost touching into the M series territory, and for me, $5,000 seems like a more reasonable Leica price point. I know with Leica you get good quality. I'm not complaining about the price of Leica in general. I'm just saying within their ranking system, I feel like this is a little bit high. I feel like 5,000 or 5,500, staying with that Q3. I know it's a better lens as well. I just feel like that is the price point. Almost $7,000 feels a bit high for me. But if you're going to use this as your just one and done camera, use it for everything, street photography, travel photography, your personal camera, then maybe you can justify the price. If you were considering this instead of an M, like I talked about, the M has those advantages of having different lenses. The Q system has advantages of the weather sealing and the autofocus. If you're considering this compared to the Q3, it's just going to come down, for me, it would come down to whether you can adapt and shoot with a 43mm lens compared to a 28mm lens. I think for most people out there, they'll choose the 28, but they should use the 43. I just think it will force you to move more in your photography. It gives you a lot more range. I don't like portraits of the 28. With a 43, I feel like you can do street, you can do portraits as well, and detail shots. I just prefer it overall. That's a better focal length for me, and I think for most people out there that want to improve their photography, just because I see so many bad pictures of 28, I think it's a better focal length to go to. So that's my honest take. Let me know your thoughts if you'll be picking up one of these cameras or not. Let me know in the comment section. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you to my friends over at Wotancraft. Don't forget to check out the affiliate link in the description box below for Wotancraft. They've got their holiday special going on right now and a bunch of new products. Don't forget to check out my online store at askmott.com. I've got presets, I've got workshops, I've got my one-on-one mentoring packages aimed at anyone out there who wants to improve by learning from a pro, open to all levels, all genres, anyone in the world. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to have a wonderful day.